Say the phrase Prince Charming out loud, and a very specific image comes to mind. We picture a wealthy, perfectly poised royal with a brilliant smile, riding in to save the day on a white horse. But look at the characters who actually hold the title of beloved fairy tale love interest today. Flynn Rider is a wanted thief. Killian Jones, or Captain Hook, is a pirate. Kristoff is a cynical ice harvester who prefers the company of a reindeer. These figures lack the pristine backgrounds or inherited fortunes of the traditional archetype. Their resumes are full of petty crimes, rough edges, and personal baggage. This creates a massive mismatch between the historical trope and the characters we actually root for. How did a symbol of perfection turn into a lineup of bad boys? To understand why today's heroes are so flawed, we have to look back at the original iteration of Prince Charming and see exactly how hollow he really was. The fairy tale prince originates in the late 1600s, specifically in Charles Perrault's 1697 version of Sleeping Beauty. This manuscript shows a linguistic misunderstanding at the core of the character. Perrault wrote the phrase, "Le Prince Charmé." He wasn't acting charming toward the princess. The text translates to the prince being charmed by her words. This lack of active personality persisted into the early days of Disney animation, starting with the production of Snow White. Snow White's love interest is so disconnected from the plot that the film doesn't even give him a name. He is credited simply as the prince. He has no character arc, no internal conflict, and no real dialogue. He exists as a manifestation of birthright and status who arrives at the end of the movie. The early iteration of Prince Charming functioned as a passive reward, handed to the protagonist for surviving her own story. The exact English phrase Prince Charming didn't enter the literary lexicon until the late Victorian era. Oscar Wilde first used the specific title in his 1890 novel The Picture of Dorian Gray. In the story, Wilde uses the name ironically. Dorian Gray is called Prince Charming by his lover, but Dorian is a manipulative and dangerous person who destroys everyone around him. Wilde proved that looking the part of a prince could be a dangerous deception, setting the stage for a shift in how heroes were written. In the 1990s, the Disney Renaissance introduced leads whose stories were driven by personal growth rather than their family tree. Characters like Aladdin, a street rat, and Prince Adam, an angry beast, severed the link between royal titles and good character. For the first time, a character's outward status offered no protection. If a prince behaved badly, he suffered the consequences of that behavior. With the Beast, the romantic outcome depends on the character's choice to abandon his anger and learn empathy. Love became a prize that had to be actively earned through behavioral reform. This brings us back to our modern roster of thieves and pirates. They follow a specific narrative formula, the reformed bad boy. This maps their shared arc. They begin as selfish outcasts, hit a catalyst of love, and transform into an active partner. You see this formula in The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Frozen, and Once Upon a Time. Modern scripts prioritize emotional labor over inherited status. Characters must prove they are willing to put in the work to become the partners their heroes deserve. The current ideal favors a partner who acknowledges their flaws and actively chooses to change. Prince Charming has evolved from a perfect, passive savior into a person who works for his happy ever after.